Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Vectra podcast. Today we have two very awesome people with us today, Gearoid and Darren. Do you guys want to say hello, a quick hello to everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, nice to meet you all. My name is Gearoid. I'm a senior product manager with Vectra, focusing on workflows and how we can transform the analyst experience.
And Darren?
Yeah, hi, my name is Darren Hall. I'm a software engineering manager on one of the UI teams in the engineering org.
Amazing. And today we have something very, very awesome. We're going to talk about how we made the Vectra AI platform even better with our performance. So let's take it away with Gearoid with starting off with the problem. What was going on?
Yeah, exactly. So as Vectra has been growing over the last few years, our customers are getting bigger and bigger. And especially as we've moved from a world where it was just a box in the customer's data center, maybe next door to where everyone was sitting in their SOC, and they had a 10 gigabit per second Ethernet cable connected directly to their Vectra appliance. In that world, everything was super easy. But as we move to the cloud, as customers are using more SaaS applications, suddenly we have to deal with public internet, and everything was just taking a little bit longer. And those small additional seconds were adding up. Kind of that caused a lot of stress, and slow page loads are really stressful, really frustrating. I think one of the research pieces by Siemens found that the act of having to wait for a slow page to load was more stressful than watching a horror movie. That's kind of indicative, you know.
Just
That's kind
imagine.
of our we saw. We need to fix that. Like,
Yeah.
Darren, from your side, do you ever find slow page loads just really frustrating?
Yeah, absolutely, especially if it's a really important task that you're trying to complete and, the app is just not responding quick enough for you.
Exactly that. So within Vectra, we want to transform the analyst experience. And part of that is saying, when we say you need to investigate something, you can just come in, look at exactly what you need to worry about, and then just be done with it. Not have to think about how long will this take to run, how long will everything take to figure out. It's all just instantaneous. And towards that end, what we first did was we said, well, what exactly do we mean by really responsive? What is snappy? So what we did was we looked up best practices and best in class SaaS applications. And we actually found these web vitals, which are defined by a consortium of Google and the W3C. And their view is 2.5 seconds. That's kind of how long people are willing to wait just for a page to load. And then 100 milliseconds is how long people will wait if they click on something, to feel like, it's an instantaneous feedback. So those were our core metrics. Now I said, Darren, can you build that for us? And how did you go about it, Darren?
Yeah, I guess we started off by, you helped us define these kind of timelines and metrics, but we didn't have any metrics being captured in the UI. We didn't know what that average page load time was. So we implemented a couple of dashboards to kind of generate this data to be able to make decisions on how work should be prioritized.
Yeah, exactly. And the core thing was that we weren't just measuring how long the server was taking to respond. We're actually mimicking what the user's experience was. So whatever they saw in their browser was what we cared about. This meant that if our customers had really slow network interactions, that was a big problem for us and something we wanted to solve for as well. So we did this, and we found there were room for improvement. That's a good thing, right? We want to make sure that we see these problems.
There's always room for improvement.
Exactly, 100%. And then we went and we actually built improvements.
Yeah, I guess we kind of broke work down into different groups. We found some quick wins that we could implement while we were building these dashboards. We implemented some skeleton screen. We added a skeleton screen to the app, which is kind of like a animated placeholder that simulates the layout of the application, and it's rendered straight away, while the app is going to get the data. And this gives the impression that the app is really fast, because the user already knows what content is going to be rendered. We added some loading indicators while the user transitions throughout the site, which is a little spinner in the center of the page. This kind of also contributed to that INP metric, the interaction to next paint, and the overall responsiveness of the app. But the biggest thing that made the most impact was setting up a content delivery network. This one, it's kind of like where it's used to serve the static files like images and fonts to the browser. And it meant that the browser was able to download these files much faster compared to how we were serving them before. And in some tests, we found they were like 10 times faster. So this really made a big impact to the performance.
It's the kind of thing you'd see maybe being done by Facebook or Instagram, but pretty rare to use it in an enterprise application. But we are so focused on making sure that any analyst who's using our product has as good experience as possible, that we implemented best in class SaaS, SaaS practices to make sure that this would work. Yeah, it's basically that. And Darren, so obviously, well, actually, I mean, to kind of give an example of how this looks, I can quickly share my screen and show how this actually looks in the product itself. Please hold while I just make sure I have the right piece. So you can see here, this is the Vectra product. And anyone who gets an alert from Vectra is going to say, well, what do I need to do? I can see all the information I need, but then let's say I want to see a bit more. That instantaneous exposure of all the data we need is critical to make sure that they can see what they need to see as quickly as possible. Here they can see all the questions that they have here, the detections that were fired. Let's say they come down, they're like, oh, I actually want to click into this guy. They go in here and they can see pretty much immediately, here are the detections for this page. I can see a bit more detail here if I need it. I can see, oh, here are the things I care about. And then let's say I want to go in and look at the actual metadata beneath it, the instant investigations. I come in here and I'm like, okay, well, where do they sign in from? Oh, California and Oregon. Interesting. I can see a bit more information here. I can see, is this normal for this user? And this is a deep investigation into the underlying metadata for this user. And these responses are so quick because it's a key focus for us to transform the analyst experience and make it really simple. And I mean, Darren, it's fair to say that this isn't just something that was easy, right? There's a lot of work that went into making this as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. We added an application performance monitoring tool specifically for areas like this, which will kind of identify really complex queries in the code and kind of offer suggestions on how we can make them faster. And that's exactly what we did here.
Exactly. And so this is all well and good, and this is exactly what we're looking to do, exposing this key information. But it's not just that we've built it and now we are, we're happy, everything loads quickly. We're also monitoring it going forward. So this is our dashboard that we're monitoring every day, making sure we can see exactly how we're doing. Right now, we're good everywhere. Things are going well, but we can see exactly how long customers are taking to load every single page that we have, how long it takes to interact with any of our items, if any of them are taking a long time. That's an issue that we will jump on to make sure that we can stay that way.
It's so green. I love it. It looks so positive.
It's in a good state, and we're going to keep it that way as well.
Amazing. Well, I think that's all the time that we have for today. Gearoid and Darren, thank you so much for talking through the amazing improvements that we made on our UI. Like you said, our goal is to make the analyst experience more seamless, help the SOC just, go through their workflows a lot faster. So, yeah, thank you so much for your time. Oh, if you haven't checked us out on YouTube, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. We have an entire playlist of great people talking about awesome stuff. So please check us out. And then, yeah, Darren, thank you so much for your time. All right.
Thanks, folks.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. See you.